What up, this is July from Kickback, Couture, and today I'm going to be talking about Umpf. So this is the track I put together, and we're going to go over the drums. So there's no processing on this, but we could change that fairly quickly utilizing Umpf. So let's go over the layout a little bit. You can change the drum that you're editing just by clicking on these numbers or on this side over here, the side panel button. You have mute buttons, you have solo buttons, you also have a compressor in which you can enable parallel compression by turning it on and editing the volume. Depending on how you set your compressor, when you set your compressor, then you will have parallel compression. This clean signal is the signal that has no compression on it. Without either one of these on, you won't get any sound. So if I solo my kick, I won't hear anything until I turn one of these buses on. So compressor bus, clean bus. You can also edit the volume here just by dragging it. This is hardwired to this. So Control Z to undo what I just did. Over here up in the sampler section, you can change your sample just like you can with any other Reason sampler, just by clicking the folder, or you can use the arrows. You can sample yourself, and then this pulls up the sample edit window, this pin. Here in this window, you can edit the attack of your kick, which is very powerful. You can change the hold, which is also very powerful, the release, and you can also change the pitch of your sample, which is also very powerful. You can go up to 2,400 cents, which is 2 octaves. 100 cents is a semitone. So for every 100 cents you raise this, every 100 cents that you raise it or lower it is an octave. Command click if you're on a Mac to initialize the parameter. You can change the sample start, and you can even go back some. You could change the start to be before the start of the sample, and that can give it swing. So this is my kick playing, and we can go ahead and also solo out the hi-hat. And with this kick, it'll then be delayed. So that's a pretty cool feature. Of course, you'd want to alter this to taste and what sounds good. Next is this key button. You can change it to whatever you want. However, this is not the key of the sample. This is where the sample is placed on the keyboard. So in the piano roll, in the sequencer, it will be at C1, as this snare will be at C2, or C#1, sorry, and this will be at D1, D#1, and so on. You can change the velocity, so it's automatically at 75%. You can change this, and this will just reverse the sample. So now, sounds like this. And you can change the release so that it doesn't pop at the end as much. That's weird. So rather than changing the beginning of the sample, it changes the release of the end, so the values switch. Next, you have this group option in which you can set the group that you want your sample to be in. I will not be using that for this example. Next, you can EQ the sample. So This is my kick. High cut. Let's go ahead and solo these drums. Low cut. Then you have these send effects here. So I have a bit crusher, distortion, and an envelope filter. All I need to do is hit this square and it will turn on. So we got sample rate, jitter, bit depth, and this is the dry wet knob. So if I want to make my kick a little bit beefy, I can do it all within Umpf. The next, distortion. We got transistor, tube distortion, and hard clipping. Rectify option with drive. Then we have an envelope filter. Just changes the filter of the sound over time. Play with that as you like. I'm now going to turn this off so we can talk about the other effects that we have. We have this chop effect. So here in the chop window to the right, I'll turn this all the way up so we can hear what's going on. What chop does is repeat, reverse, and repitch your sample. Probably not ideal for my kick, but we can hear what's going on. Probably really cool for a hi-hat pattern or something like that. Whoops. Next, you have the delay window. And we know what delay does. Tempo sync lets you sync it to the tempo and you get fractional values for your delay. We got cross, stereo, and ping pong, damping, time offset, and then we can increase or decrease the feedback. Next we got reverb. And we get 10 different reverb types. Of course, we can turn down how much we add to the drum. Pre-delay, decay, low cut, high cut, you know, basic reverb parameters. So all that is really dope. Of course, we have this pan option. We talked about the volume, which is hardwired to this right here. And then we have the two bus options. Down below, we have the return volumes for the chop, delay, reverb. You have this pre-button that you can use, reverb to compressor. The compressor volume, the compressed signal volume, the clean signal volume, and then this is the overall volume of the entire Umpf utility or the entire Umpf instrument. So the next window we have is the compressor. So once we turn it on, we'll see the signal visually in this area right here. And we can change our threshold to whatever we want. The ratio. And we have attack and release options here. We got slam mode. So that's all cool and everything. So you could use that whenever you'd like to, and as soon as you, like I said, you have both of these on, you turn this down, you could dial it in to your liking. And we have parallel compression. Cool. Please excuse my mix. I'm using my headphones, and I'm really biased with these headphones as far as mixing goes. The last section we have is this modulation section, and we can switch to a hi-hat to talk about what we can do with this. So I can modulate the pitch here, which I have already dialed in, but we can start from scratch. So drum 5 is our hi-hat, which originally sounds like this. Change the destination here to drum 5 pitch. Turn the amount up, and we start to modulate the pitch. You could turn sync on to get those fractional values, so it syncs with the tempo. And you have two separate LFOs in which you could change the waveforms. So LFO 1, LFO 2, and then you have this modulation matrix here. And this works for external things with the CV and all of these options that you can automate. As soon as you take these separate outputs and you put them into a mix channel, for example, you lose access to this area right here. So keep that in mind if you decide you want to add Umpf to your template. That is all I have for you today. If you like this video, give it a like, comment, subscribe, and most definitely let me know what you would like to see next.